What's up, beautiful people? My name is Derek Standifer, and I have the high honor, the privilege, and the pleasure of interviewing today Miss Nicole White. I went to high school, had the pleasure of going to high school at Carver Early College with Miss White. I'm blessed and fortunate and highly favored that I get a chance to come to their house and kick it with their family during the off season, during the gap. So I'm so proud of you, Nicole, man. It's an honor to know you. I'm so proud to claim that you are a woman mentor to my baby girl Ayana. So thank you for agreeing to do the interview. And how are you today, good man?
I am doing awesome. I really am. Thank you so much, Derek, for asking me to be on here. It is such an honor. I see you do it every Sunday. And so when you slid in my DMs and was like, hey, like, how can I interview you? I'm like, ask me, boy. We go way back. You ain't it ain't no formal process or nothing. So I'm trying to figure out how to do the watch party thing that you were saying.
Okay, so I just made this video live for a public outside of my friends list.
Okay.
So go to the video
Okay.
now. You can click start watch party.
Okay. Got you. Okay. I'm ready.
All right, cool. So here on Solving Sundays, what we do is interview doers and movers and shakers in the community and juxtapose how they solve the twists and turns of life to solving the twists and turns of the Rubik's Cube. And like I said, I went to high school with Nicole, so she's been destined for greatness for a long time. It comes from a lineage of great individuals. So Nicole, what is the first step of solving the Rubik's Cube is to believe. Now, belief just means to have that confidence that you can accomplish your goals and your dreams and your aspirations. So, what is it that you do, and what sparked the belief that you can do and carry the torch that you now carry, good man?
Yeah, wow, that's such a loaded question. But I actually, a part of what I do, because I do a lot, Derek, but a part of what I do is I facilitate a workshop around being authentic in the workplace. And you talk about believing and wanting to make an impact in this world, right? And a lot of people tend to do that through their careers. They tend to use their careers as a way to walk into their purpose and walk through their purpose, walk for their purpose. And I've had the ability to do the same with my career. And so this workshop has allowed me to help others to believe in themselves and help others to believe that they can show up to work and they can show up to other places, whether it be in a social place or a professional place, and be able to have the courage and the adaptability to be their authentic selves. And so this workshop, we have open dialogue, we have some real conversations, we have some hard conversations, we have some reality checks in my workshop to just kind of bring us back home and realize, how can I look within myself to make sure that I am showing up the most authentic way. And in one thing that I always say is that, when you become your authentic self, it yields others to be their authentic selves.
That's very interesting because growing up, I was always taught that I need to learn how to code switch. There's a way that you operate in the workplace. There's a way that you operate in your social life. There's a way that you operate at church. So I've been taught to code switch and navigate, the environments that we're present in. But to be your authentic self at work, I think that's very important. I think it's very great for the diversity. There's a diversity status quo now in workplaces, and we definitely need people to be their authentic selves because, if you're nervous to be yourself, you can't bring your full ideas, you can't bring your full greatness to the plate. So thank you for carrying that torch. I think that's
and let me just touch on that real quick with the code switching, because I have that question a lot come up in my workshop. They're like, well, how can I be my authentic self? Well, that means I can wear purple hair and I can talk the way that I want to talk. I can talk in ebonics and I can have slang. But there's a level of professionalism that you always need to remember. And it's not that you have those conversations, not that you can't wear your hair with blue in it and talk however you want to talk, but think about the reputation that you're holding when you associate yourself with those type of things. Not that there's a negative thing to that, but there's a time and a place for everything. And so I understand code switching, but for me, like, I feel like I show up, I have locks, sometimes I wear braids in my hair. Sometimes I do kind of use some slang here and there, but I always know who my audience is and what setting that I'm in, whether I'm in social or whether I'm in professional, always know who your audience is so that you can adapt to that.
Oh man, you're so poised. It's so poised. I think I think that's highly important to know, especially when I see people with PhDs, right, and I see them being, not doctor such and such, but just being, their name, regular person, just a regular without the title. And it's interesting to see, okay, you can be a professional, you can be an academic and still have fun and be able to take off the shirt and tie and get loose without it interfering with your career and without it interfering with your reputation. So I think those are very important avenues that we need to address on how to be able to be authentically ourselves, but also understand that we need to stay within the confines of being professional. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
I just always think in your mind, who am I representing? That's what I have to remember. Like, who am I representing? You know my mom. You know how she's.
And you can't embarrass Mrs. White.
You already know. So my mom, I think she's watching too. She'll tell you, "Don't embarrass me, Nicole." Like, that's always been her thing. So I always had that in the back of my mind. I'm representing not only myself, but I'm representing my mother. I'm representing my nieces. I'm representing other Black women who look like me. To me as a role model, even people who are older than me. I'm representing us all. So when I show up in the boardroom or I show up in, down at the Oak Room in the club, I'm always representing myself and others. So I always have to keep that in mind.
It's so crazy you said that. I was recommended to do a speech, Life is like a Rubik's Cube speech for an audience. And, they praised the speech. And the topic was, if somebody else would have came and they would have bombed it, it probably would have been the last time that they invited somebody, in my genre, a poet, a speaker to come. So you are representing not only yourself, but other individuals. You either opening or closing the door for people to come after you, because you come in and you're doing a phenomenal job and kill it and knock it out of the water. That brings the door for you to bridge that connection and bring in other people. But if you kill it, if you bomb it, I can't bring nobody associated with you anymore. I'm sorry, we can't. They closed that door.
Absolutely. And it's not just about how you perform, but it's about how you practice as well. Because if you think about it, if I come and I perform and I do a great job, then that's awesome. But there's another part to that. How did I prepare for this situation? Was I, did I communicate effectively? Did I have the right resources? Did I communicate to you what I needed ahead of time? Or, did I satisfy your objectives that you wanted from me? How are you practicing what you perform? So that's the other part to it, that as we're thinking about, people who come behind us, a lot of times people are like, I don't want to deal with Black owned businesses because they don't have a good reputation because their customer service or whatever the case may be. Right. But that's not all Black owned businesses. So it's kind of like, I'm a business, right? Like, I have to remember that. And so I don't want others to come behind me and have trouble being able to start their own workshop or have an entrepreneur idea because I messed it up for them. So it's not about
exactly. And it's so crazy how.
I'm sorry.
I said it's so crazy how one bad experience can be umbrellaed to every other, similar situation. I had experience in this one Black business. That's why I don't support Black businesses. It's so crazy how we think, but that's the reality of the situation.
Exactly.
And you got to be aware of your audience. It's not just for you.
Exactly. It's not about you. It's about everybody else. So who are you representing when you go out in the world and you're showing up in whatever way you are? Who are you representing? You still there?
We still here. Somebody got a little 2G network going on, but it's all good. We keep it moving. Miss Kelly Dolson, she says, "Facts, know your audience." Thank you for your comment, Dolson. We appreciate you, good man. So, after we believe in ourselves, thank you for sharing that. After we believe in ourselves, that brings us to step number 2 of solving the Rubik's Cube, and step number 2 of solving life, which is to solve your cross. Solving your cross means to identify your why, your reasons. So, why is this important to you? Why is this even valuable to society, and why are you carrying the torch that you choose to carry?
Because the torch was handed to me and I tried to run away from it, Derek. Do you hear me? Like, I tried to run sprint away from it because I was like, I am not built to be a facilitator of a workshop. Like, no, that is not what I want to do. Like, I've always been good at like public speaking and stuff like that. So that wasn't the issue, but I didn't feel like my story was hard enough. Like, I didn't feel like my story was deep enough that I could have a workshop and bring, change to this world. Like, that wasn't something that I thought I would do. But God has a very unique way in showing you that, baby, if I got a plan for you, I don't care how you run from it, I'm going to find you. So this topic and being authentic came about when I was at Wake Forest. I grew up in Atlanta, Mecca for Black people, went to Alabama A&M University, HBCU. So I've always been surrounded from when I was born up until I graduated from college, I was surrounded around people who looked like me, who supported me, who were successful, and I could look to those people and say, I can be like them. When I graduated from Wake Forest when I graduated from Alabama A&M University and went to Wake Forest, it was a complete culture shock. And I found myself in the same situation that I was in when I was in Rochester, New York, where I was the only person who looked like me, who had the confidence that I did, who was very outspoken, who had, a personality as bubbly and as loud and as crazy as I do, but could still get work done and still was a go-getter. I was the only one who looked like that. And so, again, like I found myself in that way at Wake Forest, and I was like, all right, here I am again. So I can't run from it now. I ran from it when I was in Rochester. I left Rochester. I was like, I don't want to do this. And I went back home and finished high school there. But when I went to grad school, I didn't have that choice. I had spent $90,000 and I had signed the dotted line. I couldn't just move away from it. So that was God's way of saying, okay, you ran from it in 9th grade, but now I'm putting you back in this exact same place. What you gonna do with it? And so asked to come up with a Black History program, of course. I was asked to come up with a Black History program. And I was laying in bed and it woke me up out of my sleep, the word authenticity. It woke me up out of my sleep. It was 2 a.m. in the morning. And I got up and I always like to sleep with a journal next to me on my bed. I don't do it anymore, but I need to. But I got up and I just started writing down all of these thoughts and all of these ideas. And I started doing research and YouTube videos and all this other stuff. Long story short, I ended up doing the workshop one time at Wake Forest, and it was a complete dry run. I had just kind of started it off and just tried to see where it went. And I got called back every year since then to come back and do this workshop. Now it's grown to other universities. It's grown to corporate. And so the dream here is that I continue to work through this workshop, that I continue to build on it. And eventually I want to be able to sell it to corporate America and be able to say, like, this is needed. And why this is needed is because, we're increasing the diversity, inclusion, and equity agenda, but we're not adjusting the workplace and the environment to make sure that those that we're bringing in feel like they have a place to belong. So it goes into this idea that we want to change the environment, but we're not doing anything to adjust to it. Well, my workshop helps with that. My workshop helps to kind of shift the idea of what it means to show up authentically, because I don't tell my clients and I don't tell people who join my workshop, that you should go in there and just do you, be you, and have this, have no care about how you show up, but it's about how you can be rooted in self-awareness and recognize when you're not being authentic and how you switch that, how you can.
I'm so proud of you, Nicole. That's amazing. That's dope. That's so amazing. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Let's get to Ms. Rachel. She says, I like the term being an authentic self. Adapting to the pandemic, I have faced so many difficulties, like changing careers, feeling lost, but remaining authentic to oneself and to others and walking in purpose. I think that's a very good charge to walking in purpose. Thank you for sharing that. We got Miss Sydney Harris. Be your authentic self. So proud of the growth, Nicole. Thank y'all. Thank you for bringing the audience out. Thank y'all for commenting. If you guys have any questions or any other comments, but Miss Nicole, we got to take advantage of this wisdom while we got her, y'all. So step number 3 of solving the Rubik's Cube. Step number 3 of solving life is to fill in your corners. Filling in your corners means to surround yourself with people who will push you and motivate you to be the best version of yourself. And in addition, it means to immerse yourself in an environment that promotes your growth and your prosperity. So what kind of environment do you surround yourself in to operate at the level at which you operate? Good.
I love that question, Derek. And I think that the environment first starts with the environment that you're in with you. Like, what does my inside look like? What is my environment with just me, myself, and I? Before I introduce anybody else into this environment with me, what does my environment look like? I am super big on self-care, super big on it. I am the first one to tell you that I'm tired and I don't want to be bothered. So I'm going to go in my room. I'm going to light some candles. I'm going to take a bubble bath, listen to my music, and go about my business. I'm so good on that. Like, I have problem telling myself that I need some me time. So when I create that environment of positivity, of self-care, of being one with myself, then I attract that you attract what you are. So I'm able to now attract people who care about self, who are big on self-care, who are big on positivity, who are big on just making sure that their goals are being met as well. I have friends from Charlotte. A lot of my friends come from Charlotte in grad school and in college. Of course, I have my childhood friends too, but a lot of my friends are doing what I'm doing, which is living out their dreams. And so we talk about those things, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I still have my friends that, you kiki with and have a good time and laugh with, but it's about being focused on what your goals are and thinking to yourself. I have a mentor at my job, and she always tells me, what you're doing right now, is that preparing you for your future self? And so I always try and keep that in mind. And I apply that to not just my professional life, but my personal life as well. If I'm on a weight loss journey, is this cookie helping me get to my goal? Probably not. I might still indulge, but you have to,
consequences.
You still got to ask yourself, is this what I'm doing right now? Is this action going to prepare me for my future self? And my mentor always told me, relish in what you're accomplishing right now, but don't get complacent in it. Always remember that you're trying to get to something better. And so while you want to enjoy where you are, always do something, whether it be one thing a day, to make sure that you're reaching your next goal.
Mm-hmm. The power of one is so important. People, it's the saying, you don't eat an elephant, you don't eat the entire elephant, you eat the elephant one bite at a time. And I'm a big fan. I'm a huge fan of the fact that we don't, we celebrate the success at graduation, but graduation isn't the success. The success comes from the daily disciplines, showing up every day, being disciplined to do what you need to do every single day. That's the success. And you can tell a person, if a person goes to the gym, you can tell they go to the gym based off their daily regimen, their daily habits. Person, who's showing up with the hustle and the grind and the commitment that they have, like yourself, you can tell by looking at their daily commitment. So it is definitely about the daily disciplines.
Absolutely. It's that saying to myself, okay, I'm gonna wake up this morning and I'm gonna do a budget. I may not feel like doing it, but when you do that budget, that's one step closer to that financial freedom that you want. So it is like not trying to eat the whole elephant, but just taking it bit by bit and setting realistic goals, like putting a due date to goals. I'm big on like due dates and what's the goal and what's the due date. Let's work with that, and then we can break it down a little bit more than that.
I started listening to Simon Sinek. He came up with the concept of start with why. I started listening to him a couple years ago, and I've been writing my goals down, but I write daily to-do lists every single day, and I can't tell you the euphoric feeling that I get when I cross something off my to-do list. I've been grinding, check it off, and I get like a rush.
Satisfying.
It's a great feeling. I highly encourage people. Like I tell people all the time, your mind is not to hold information. Your mind is to generate the information, is to generate ideas, and you write them down in your journals, or write them down in your to-do list. So, when you get something, cross them off, and you'll get this level of satisfaction that wants you to cross something else off the list. So, thank you for sharing that. We got some praise from Ms. Rachel. She says, keep what you're doing, because people like me need these moments of encouragement and motivation. I feel good listening to people like you. I got to do Dale's workshop again for like the 7th time, and I'll be looking forward to participating in Ms. White's workshop. Yeah, she's dope.
Oh, absolutely, Rachel. Well, we will, if you DM me, we can work through how we can do the workshop, because I also do one-on-ones. I love doing one-on-ones. Those are a little bit more effective because we can really get more intimate and more deeper about where we are and where we're trying to go. I do want to share the three truths, or the three statements that I always start with, is that authenticity is ever evolving. Authenticity is unique to you and what you and your journey. And authenticity is rooted in self-awareness. Those are my three statements that I always start my workshop on. And so as long as we can agree on those three statements, we good.
We good. We good like Megan.
We good. We good like Megan. You always good with that kind of stuff.
The fourth step of solving the Rubik's Cube, the fourth step of solving life, is to take it to the next level. Now, on the Rubik's Cube, taking it to the next level means to solve the second row. in life, taking us to the next level means to continue to grow, to continue to get better. I feel like once you climb a mountain, and if you planted your flag at the top of that mountain, it's time for you to climb a new mountain. So, Nicole, how do you grow? How do you get better? How do you continue to make it a mission to better yourself?
Feedback. Feedback is a gift. I love criticism. I really enjoy doing workshops, but my favorite part of doing a workshop is receiving that feedback. And 9 times out of 10, I get really positive feedback. This was good. This was great. But I always take it a step further and pull 1 or 2 students aside, or 1 or 2 of the participants aside, and just say, tell me what I could have done differently. What would have made this workshop even more impactful or even better? And I always get, can we get more time? But obviously time is just, I'm only one person. I can only do it for 1 hour. But what I continue to read. Brene Brown is a huge, I pay a lot of respect to her with my work, because I've read her books, Daring Greatly. I've watched her shows, Call to Courage on Netflix. And she talks a lot about vulnerability. And vulnerability is one of the pillars of authenticity. And so I do a lot of research with her. I read a lot of articles. I'm always looking for articles about, authenticity in the workplace, authenticity and how it's changed since COVID. Like, I'm always looking for things to read and just to, increase my knowledge, because I don't know everything, and I'll be the first to tell you I don't. I have the honor of working with a co-facilitator, and I won't call his name out because I don't know if he wants that, but my co-facilitator that I work with on my workshop, he's phenomenal, and he brings that element of tying things together, because I'm like I said, I'm only one person. I'm not good at everything. I'm good at a lot, but I'm not good at everything. So, there are certain things that I call on him, or I call him. I mean, my mother, I brought her up 50 million times, but my mother is a phenomenal woman. My aunt, my grandma, my girlfriend, my family, people who I surround myself around, that environment, my friends, I call on them and I'm like, can you read through this? Can you tell me what you think about this? Or I play my scenarios out for my friends and I'm like, what do you think about this? Is this worded the right way or whatever? Whatever I feel like is going to make me better. But I'm always looking to make my workshop a better workshop, because like I said, the goal is to sell this and to change the world with it.
Those of y'all who watch it, she's referencing her mama. And I call her Mama White a lot. I met Mrs. White. I transferred schools. I was at Washington High School. I left schools and went to Carver. My first day at Carver, I saw Mrs. White in the hallway hanging up college flags. And we clicked since then. We've been rocking ever since. Do you need some help? And ever since then, she's been a beacon of light in my life.
And she saved you from the Komodo dragon.
No, stop telling people. Y'all keep this Komodo dragon under wraps. We went to Costa Rica. We had the blessing, the honor, and the privilege of going to Costa Rica. And they keep playing about it. Was a Komodo dragon in my room. And
it was a salamander.
The Komodo dragon was 6 feet long on my bed. And they keep bringing it up. Like I'm not supposed to be afraid of my life when I see a Komodo dragon on my bed. So,
that story will never get old.
Offline. So this is the 5th and the final step of solving the Rubik's Cube. And step 5 of solving life and of solving the Rubik's Cube is to see the bigger picture. Now, seeing the bigger picture simply means to keep your commitment to your commitment. When you say you're going to do something, you got to do it. A lot of times, people set goals and they get sidetracked by frivolous activities, and their goals never fulfill. They never come to fruition. So, Nicole, how do you keep your commitment to your commitments and stay focused and stay committed to what you're doing until you finish it?
Yeah, I struggled with that during COVID because I didn't have a lot of workshops, during the time. I wasn't really reaching out to people. People weren't really reaching out to me. I wasn't having that same flow like I was before COVID. And so I was kind of using my workshops as accountability. When I have a workshop, I'll work on it. But what I had to learn is that when the time comes, you got to be ready, because they could call you and they may need a workshop day of. And if you're not ready, if you're preparing yourself, if you always ready, you don't have to get ready. So I have to keep that in mind, that it's a constant work. I'm constantly working on it. I remember the way my workshop got to where it is now is because it was one weekend I was in Charlotte, and I had a workshop coming up, but I really just needed to put some work in. I really needed to do some research. And I shut my phone off for about 5-6 hours. I didn't call anybody. I didn't accept any calls. And in those 5 hours, I was so productive. So it's not about the quantity of time, but the quality of time you put into your work. When you're really putting forth the effort, when you're making things happen, you don't have to spend the whole day doing it, but put in that quality time that you need in order to make a goal. And I mean, like I said, I have my goals written down, and I'm really big on accountability. And so if I say that I'm going to do something, which is why I'm very careful about when I say I'm gonna do something, because I feel bad when I can't deliver on it. But when I say I'm gonna do something, accountability is big. So that's how I keep my commitment to my commitment. And then I also remember that I have my nieces who are looking up to me. I don't have a daughter, I don't have a son yet, but I have my nieces and my nephews who look up to me and are looking to me to say, my auntie's gonna make it. And so how, I gotta make sure that I am setting the stage and setting the tone for my family, because I want to leave a legacy. So again, it's about the people behind me, not me.
It's so crazy what you're willing to do for other people that you wouldn't do for yourself. I think about Ayana and Derek. When I feel like throwing in the towel, I think about Ayana and Derek looking up to me. They're following in my footsteps. If I quit, it gives them permission to quit.
I
can't throw in the towel. So
what message I give to them? Yeah.
So we have officially solved our Rubik's Cube. I think it's the comparison. I think you hit it on the nail. Great examples, great interview. Thank you for sharing them words of wisdom. For you to be so young, I think Ayana was the youngest person that we've had on Solve It Sunday. She's 6 years old. You can't beat that age.
I love your daughter. She's my role model.
I love her too. Oh my goodness. Her and Derek, I mean, I'm blessed. Ayana and Derek are absolutely, they're brilliant. Then I'll push them. So, but you're outside of Ayana, you're the youngest person that we've had on Solve It Sundays. And for you to be so young, but to be so wise at the same time, I think your parents have done a phenomenal job. I think the school that you went to have done a phenomenal job. Your circle of influence. We've got the pleasure of having Mr. Tavares Tate on. He's saying, "Hey, family." A couple weeks ago, and when I can brag about the people that I went to school with, I went to school with them. I went to school.
Yeah, I know her.
That's a phenomenal feeling. For those of y'all who watching, y'all find out more about Nicole White. Y'all definitely will be seeing more of her. She is definitely placed here on this planet to ignite that fire in a lot of people. So yeah, thank you for your service. Thank you for your service to mankind and womankind. We appreciate
it. Absolutely. Thank you, Derek, for what you do. It would be remiss for me not to thank you, because you tell people about you all the time. And you're FAMU grad. My girlfriend, she went to FAMU and that's all she talks about. So it's but I won't go there.
I knew she was good people.
Yeah.
Hello. We got Miss Brittany Christian.
Oh, yes, my best friend from college. Hey,
for some reason they showing. Okay, love you, Nicole. So proud.
All right, thank you, Derek.
Yeah, Nicole, if you can stay on for 2 minutes. For those of y'all who are watching, thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all be great like the Lakes. Be blessed like a sneeze. And next week, I have the honor, the privilege, and the pleasure of interviewing another leader of mine at Florida A&M. I'll be interviewing Dr. Allison Watson. She's the Dean of the College of Education at FAMU. So I'll see y'all next Sunday. X. Hold up. Before we tune out, we got to get to Miss Brianna, our Rattler Love. Exactly.
Yeah, that's bad.
Thank you, Nicole and Derek. We got Mama White on. So proud of you both. Before we get off, I will be remiss if I don't shout out the very committed investments of Miss Kim White. Miss White got a lot of, she got her babies, but then she got these people that went to school at the school that she's been a part of, and she never let us go. You know how King with Moesha's family, how you give a cat some milk and they come back to your door. That's what Mama White has done to a lot of us, and I'm so grateful for your investment. I promise you, I will make you proud. I got you. We got to thank you from Miss Rachel. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for always supporting, just for being so dope, Miss Rachel. We got Mr. Tate. Hey, Mama White. Yep, I told you. She has this. She has this. I taught for 2 years, right? And to this day, some of my students still call me and check on me just to say, "Hey, how you doing?" And that's a proud feeling to know when your students, they still call you and check on you and thank you for your investments in them. So thank you for that. Here she is. You have what she say? You already have no, not yet, not yet, not yet. All right. Anyway, for those of y'all who are watching again, from the top of my heart to the bottom of my soul, thank y'all for tuning in. Nicole, you so dope. It's amazing to know you.
Thank
And then stay
you.
on for a hot second so we can chit chat right quick.
Okay.
All right, y'all.